Do a pattern to show you how to draw a pattern, and Afrika has been wonderfully volunteering her services for us. So this is the way I learned to do it. Once I draw the pattern, then it's a matter of me doing a lot of head scratching to remember how to transfer the flat pattern to 3D products. So it's going to actually work. So as you can see in the board, these are three of the main pieces. This one will not stay. The fourth being the actual sole. And I don't have one cut out of the manila folder because I've already used it and I know this works. So this is like my sample. So what we will do is, as I have done here, and again, I'd really like you to kind of watch, and if you have questions, stop and let me know. But what I've done is I've taken a basic pattern. Someone has drawn my foot for me. I've taken the basic pattern, marked, and I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I've marked different places straight from the point of the toe to the middle of the heel, through the different areas of where the measurements are going to be important when you're making this flat pattern into the 3D vamp heel cup and toe. Because you know you have to have extra. Sorry. You have to have extra length and width in order for it to come over the foot, as it's going to cover here. So first thing I'd like you to do is take a deep breath, because this won't hurt a bit. Whee! That's what you told the last one. And this foot's here nicely. What I'd like to do is your left foot first because it's closer to me. In fact, what I'd like to do is wait, come off that a minute. Now I want you to this free, because I want them to be able to see what we're doing kind of at an angle. So come on back. And just be comfortable. Leave your clothes on. Alright, this foot needs to come forward a little bit because I want it in the middle. There you go. Okay, first thing, with your marker straight up and down, starting anywhere. Outline the toe, outline the foot rather, with all the little bumps, all this little idiosyncrasies straight up and down, because that's going to give you a little bit of a leeway when it comes to cutting. It's going to give you a little bit of an allowance. Don't move yet. And just basically you have the basic outline of the foot. And without moving, I'm needing a tape measure. No, it's better to use a cloth tape measure, because that way you can go over the rounded parts of the body a little bit more easily. What I do, and again, I'm not going against anything anyone else has ever taught in doing shoes or boots. I'm just telling you what works for me. And if you ask other people, they may come up with different ways. But looking at this foot and thinking about a pair of shoes, the place that's going to be most shallow is at the instep on any foot. So I just feel along for where that is, and I mark it just so I know where that instep is, where the instep is the highest. Some people don't have an instep, so you just kind of gauge. Okay? Then I come out here on the outside, and usually there's a little place on the outside of the foot as well. And when you all get to making your patterns, you'll understand what I'm saying, and I mark it over there. That is going to be my mark for the heel cup around and for the vamp around. Then another thing you'll notice about feet is how tall they are. Okay, the extra width here. So we're going to do a couple of different measurements. Here, wherever the foot is widest, and as it gets more narrow. This is just the basic pattern. So for now, just stay there.
Not moving.
There. Excellent. I'm going to do the same over here. You can see here where it goes in a little bit. Marking right there. And feeling with my foot on this side for where the highest arch is. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be close, because this is going to fit their feet. And once you cut the pattern and you cut your leather, it can be forgiving, but it's better to go ahead and do this right the first time. So you've got that. You've got the mark for the instep. That's going to be a measurement. We're going to put that measurement over here. Got a part wherever the foot goes widest. going to be another measurement, and then where the foot starts going in, for me, is another measurement. I just put lines there for now to gauge where I'm going to be measuring. So when I do start the measurements, I can make sense of it later. And some feet, you'll notice, have wider parts here or wider parts here, and that's where we're going to take measurements from. So I did 3, and off the toe bone. And what I'm measuring, what I'm touching and measuring is to make sure that I have the right part, the right, for me, in the experience that I've had making these, what feels right as far as being perpendicular and not off. Now some feet you'll notice you'll make differently, but for this purpose, that's where I'm heading. If that didn't make sense, I'm horribly sorry. Do you want rounded toe or pointy toe?
Rounded toe.
Okay. So I put about a finger or an inch off the edge of each toe, somewhere towards, well, since you're going to be rounded, it doesn't much matter. But that will allow, once we have kind of like this, this should be about 1/4 to 1/2 inch over. Again, once we start making it out of vinyl, because you're going to cut it out of vinyl first, you can make your adjustments on your vinyl, then gently take it apart, and the vinyl pattern is what you'll use to transfer it to leather. Okay, without moving yet, do just the one. And so this we could do without her foot. The part we need for her foot is this, and this measurement is for the area in which you will put your foot to make sure that you put your boot on. So this has to be at least this high, but we'll do another measurement over here when she points her toe and get this area in here so that this will clear the throat of the boot so you can actually wear it. But for now, just for the height, what I do is I measure from the bottom of the mark to the bottom of the mark, but I put a finger or a thumb in there to give a little bit of leeway. See my thumb in there? And so I snug it down, and I am getting about 7 3/4. Again, once we make it out of vinyl, we can touch all that up. Then across where the foot starts coming down a little bit more, again with a finger under it to allow room for thicker socks or what have you. And again, we will be making those out of vinyl first. We get 6 1/4. And again here, with the finger under it, 5 1/2. Okay, and then I'll do it with the other foot as well, because again, sometimes people have different size feet, and if you're making your own shoe, you may as well make it to where it's going to fit you. So we have from over here to over here with a thumb or finger in between. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not. And this one I'm going to put here. And 6 1/2. And if you find they're close enough in measurement, then you only really need to cut one. And then what you'll do is you'll have L for left, and on the other side you write R for right. It's that simple when you cut it, because it will be this if your measurements are close enough. So finish this measurement here. Widest part to widest part. And we've got 5 1/2 over there, which I think more than what we need. We got 5 1/4 over here. 1/4. And 1/4. Okay, so they're pretty much the same. I added a 1/4 inch over here which you may not need. 6 1/4 is good. So you can see that they're similar. Okay, so you might only need to cut one. However, now if you don't mind, I think, no. From the soft part of the top of the foot, you can usually feel where the ligaments and stuff, you don't want to press it and hurt them, but you can feel that there's definitely a sweet spot there. You're going to measure from there to the edge of the toe, actually to the 1/4 inch out. And there we have, oh, metric, how cool. 6 1/2. And from here, no, I don't think we need that. From here to here. We can do, I think we can do the rest of it without, give me a second to think about it. And check and see. Yes. What I'd like you to do, you may need to put your hand on my shoulder for this, but I want you to take this foot and point it. Very good. And we're going to measure around, because this is how big the throat has to be to allow the foot into the bottom of the boot. Okay. And then we have 11 1/2. And I think I've got everything else. Oh, you have a choice when you make boots. This piece that fell down because it wouldn't stay up, the heel, you can choose to have above your ankle bone. Just stay still for a second. Put this foot out. Put your left foot out here sideways. Nope, the other way. Yeah. Okay. When you put the ankle, the heel, you can choose to have it above your ankle bones or below. I chose mine to be just a hair below so it wouldn't rub as much. It's really what you choose, and that should be a deciding factor when you do get ready to cut your pattern. I chose also to have this up higher because for my boots it reinforced the whole heel for me because of the weight of the leather I was using. Now you can also cut an inner piece for support if you're using a lighter weight leather, which will go like this and get sewn to this piece, so you'll have double thickness. That'll help it stand, because one of the first pieces of my boots to fail is this piece because it starts folding. So once you decide how high you want it to go, we already have a measurement for this on this page here. So it's just a matter of how high you want it to be and how you want that to fall. So other than that, I think we have all the measurements we need for you for this point. If you'll carefully step down, I will show you. Ah, this way. The chair's here, silly. Thank you very much, everybody.